All right, so wait, let me turn that on. Okay, just like the title says, I write copy for a living. Like, that's actually my job. I'm a direct response copywriter, and that basically means that companies pay me to write their marketing stuff and sell their products for them and make them more money. And in 2023, so last year, I made my clients like $40 million, probably more. That's 40 million that I know of, but there's so much that goes untracked or that you can't keep track of. So that's what I know we made them for sure. And yeah, that's how I make my living. That's how I make money, by making other companies money. And the first time I ever got paid to sort of do a service for other companies, I think I must have been like 15, and I pitched the owner of my MMA gym at the time. I knew the guy because I'd been training in that gym for like 4 years or a couple years, and I basically pitched him to let me make videos for their Instagram page. So I said, send me content, send me all the videos you film. I'll edit it and send it back to you so you can upload it to Instagram and grow the MMA gym's social media presence. And this was long before TikTok or Instagram Reels or any of that shit. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know it was called freelancing. I just needed money because I was fucking broke. So that's why I did it. And honestly, I was pretty good at it, you know? The only reason I knew how to do it was because as a kid when I used to skateboard, and I'm talking like I was a kid back then, but even more a kid, like when I was, I don't know, like 8, 9, 10 years old, I used to skateboard a lot. And me and my brother would like film videos of us snowboarding and skateboarding, and we would edit them and upload them on YouTube. Like we loved YouTube shit. We loved making videos and montages and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I already had the skill since I was a kid of like how to edit videos. And that's super funny to me because it's not funny, it's just interesting because someone really successful, like a lot more successful than me in every regard, like just fucking rich and smart and honest, like every single factor that you want to max out as a man, he has it more than me. And I really respect the guy. I think he's cool. But he basically told me one time, like, never let your childhood dreams die. And it's so funny because now, after building these companies that I have, elevating my lifestyle, buying cars, buying everything I ever wanted, I'm back sat in my car making a YouTube video. So it's just funny how it goes full circle, you know? I think in my head, or in my heart, I guess, I always knew I'd come back to making some sort of content. Um, but yeah, so yeah, that was my first freelance job, editing videos for the guy who owned my gym. And I was doing stuff on the side, which I regret doing to make money, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I was doing other stuff. Anyway, fast forward a little bit, I got into copywriting. I think I just saw a video of a guy on YouTube, and he was claiming he was making like $5,000 a month writing emails. And wait, it just froze. Yeah, anyway, at the time, like making 5K a month writing emails was literally mind blowing to me. And obviously, he was selling a course. I couldn't afford to buy the course, so I bought some books. I basically researched like direct response copywriting books. I bought three or four. I think the first one I read was Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. And, at the time I was kind of mad, like, oh, I can't afford to buy these courses. How am I going to make money? Blah, blah, blah. But looking back, I'm really happy that I started with the books first because those are like the original books from the guys who invented direct response and sort of pioneered the entire industry. Back before the internet was a thing, there was guys writing copy and making tens of millions of dollars, dude. And those are the guys you want to learn from, or at least learn from somebody who learned from them. Most of the time in today's day and age, the copywriters you see and all these gurus and stuff, they're just new school copywriters. Like they learned how to write copy from some fucking dude who learned how to write copy from some other guy's course. How do I put it? You want to learn from like the source. Yeah, you want to learn from the source when it comes to writing copy. And that's what I did. I learned from the source. And then I started using Fiverr and Upwork to get my first sort of gigs. And I think at like 16, 17, I was already getting paid to write copy. I mean, it's not like I was making money. I think I was getting probably like at max $500 or $600 a month. But you guys need to remember, I grew up in Malaysia, and over there, $500, especially at the age of like 16, that's decent money. Like you can spend that. Um, so yeah, like I said, never really used courses. just studied the OG books and then went on Fiverr and Upwork and used YouTube videos. So that's how I learned. And that's how I got my first gig and how I sort of got my foot in the door in this industry. And over the years, I just kept reinvesting. I probably spent something like, I mean, to this day, I've probably spent like $300,000 on consulting, courses, and coaching. Not just for me now, but for my team. Like we literally spend $20,000 a month at the agency. We're spending $20,000 a month just paying some of the best copywriters, the best living copywriters, way better than me, to consult with my team. And the reason that works is because if my team and me, we produce better copy for our clients and our clients make more money and we're on like rev shares or performance incentives, so we make more money. It adds up, right? Anyway, finished school. My parents wanted me to be a doctor, or they wanted me to go to university essentially. I kind of always knew since I was a kid that wasn't going to happen. I hate school. And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I actually like school. Like, no, I hated it. I hated waking up in the morning. I hated getting on the fucking school bus. I hated listening to teachers. But I never really got along with many teachers, except for one teacher, my psychology teacher, and my English literature teacher, which is so funny because those two subjects were my best subjects in school. I would get like straight A's without even trying. Back in school, the only subjects I actually enjoyed were psychology and English literature. And it's so funny because if I had to describe in two words or in two sort of skills what my job is as a copywriter, it's psychology and English literature. So even though I hated school and I never got along with any teachers, I really loved my English literature teacher and I really loved my psychology teacher. Like it sounds weird, but I really attribute a lot of my current success to them and how good they were to me, and how my psychology teacher was like the only person who ever told me in school, like, hey, you're actually good at this. Just fucking focus. Stop messing around in the back of the class. Stop getting suspended, whatever. And you can be good at this. So that was cool. Anyway, by the time I was 18, I was cold calling CEOs every single day. I was sending cold emails, just trying to close business, get more clients, right? I didn't have any employees, but I closed this one company, a health company. They were making like 10 or 20 million a year. Pretty, not that big, but they were decent. For me, it was big at the time. Now our clients make like 11 or 12 million a month in some cases. So, but back then they were making like 10 million. I ended up closing them, and they hired me to write their copy. And this company, it wasn't like some random company. Like they were a pretty big supplement company online, and they had been using copywriters for years. They'd ran some huge promotions in the past and all that stuff. And yeah, I started to improve super fast working with them because the CEO of the company was literally like paying people to coach me. You know, the same thing that I do for my team now, he was doing for me. And I got them some crazy results, you know, super fast. And yeah, that kind of established me as a real copywriter because I made them millions of dollars. And around that time, I started taking home like 15 to 20K a month at the age of 18 or turning 19. I was making that much with one client. So for me at the time, that was a lot of money. Like I bought a Rolex. All the things that essentially I wanted to have when I was younger, which were so unattainable. At 15 to 20K, I started to feel like I could attain it. And yeah, I was making a decent living working with that one health company. I moved to Spain. I just traveled around for a year making like decent money with that health company, one client, super low stress, constantly working on my skill set. And then I think at like 19, I decided 15 to 20K a month is nothing. And I realized, fuck, like I'm so stupid. This is shit money. Because 15 to 20K a month, in theory, it sounds like a lot. But when you make that much money, your lifestyle starts to elevate. You start to travel to different places. And you start to like rub shoulders with people who are making 50, 100, 150K a month. So I knew I had to level up, but I had no idea how. And even though I had done so much work since the age of like 16 even to get to the point where I was making 15 or 20,000 a month, I felt like I was standing at the bottom of a huge mountain and I had to climb the whole thing. Like I felt like I was literally just in the beginning. And that's exciting, but it's also kind of annoying knowing that it just never stops. And If you do stop, then you're just going to go like this. Because if you're not growing, you're shrinking, essentially. Anyway, I just said fuck it, and I started working harder. I'll spare you guys the details, because it's just, I don't want this video to be fucking 2 hours long. But I just started working harder, and then by the time I was 19, I had started bringing on so many clients that I didn't have the time to work with all of them. So that's when I decided to hire my first employee, because I basically realized that writing copy was the most important thing I could do for the client, right? It's the thing that made them money, instant return. They would see if it did well or not. Like, that's what makes them money, and that's what makes them pay me. I just wanted to write copy. That's all I wanted to do. But as I kept getting better and better and better and working with bigger clients, and people kept trying to work with me, and I wanted more money, so I was like taking on every single deal I could get. I was like kind of getting, I was getting overwhelmed with how much work it was, and I realized, fuck, this is no longer a copywriting business. I'm literally replying to like 10 emails a day, or sending updates, or sending reports, or figuring out how to make an invoice because this client needs an invoice and can't just wire the money to, like, all that shit. And it became so much more than just writing copy, and I realized this is taking me away. Like, all this extra shit that comes with making more money and working with more clients, it's taking me away from what's important, and that is writing the copy. That's like the highest leverage skill set I have, and even when I'm a billionaire, I'm probably still gonna think that writing copy is the biggest skill set I have. And I speak to guys, by the way, like, just a side note, I speak to copywriters every day who are much richer than me and much more successful, and they still write copy. They have huge teams, but they'll still set aside time to make sure they're writing copy, because it's such an important skill. It's so high ROI and so high leverage. So I realized early on, like, fuck, this is the best skill. Like, I need to keep this. I don't want to outsource it. And, I want to make more money, but making more money requires like less copy and more dealing with clients and sales and closing deals. And that stuff is not really the most important thing here. So that's why I decided to hire my first employee. My thinking was that I could get employees to basically handle all the bullshit, and I would just write the copy. So that's what I did. I hired this girl. She was like from London or whatever. And she sort of acted like a VA. Like, she would do invoices and I can't remember, like, contracts for new clients. Yeah, that was my first ever employee. Fast forward to now, the cool part is knowing that the people who work for me make good money. Like, my top copywriter, he literally earns, on some months, he's done like 25K, exclusively working for me. So yeah, I just built out a huge team, started bringing on bigger clients to do their copy, and started getting big retainer deals, like, yeah, and then we naturally sort of ended up where I am right now. And I have a couple other businesses. I have my newsletter, which is completely free, by the way. You don't have to pay to be on there. And if you're watching this video and you're not on my newsletter, that's a big shame. Like, you really should be on there. Sorry, my phone ran out of storage. But as I was saying, my copywriters make good money, and that's the coolest thing, right? Knowing that my copywriter went from, living a pretty normal life as like a delivery driver, and then COVID came, he got fired. Like, he told me the story. It's pretty cool, but he's making good money. He takes home some months like 25K, and that's just exclusively with me. He doesn't work for anyone else. He's a full-time employee. And my goal, and I tell this to my team, my goal with my team is to turn them all into millionaires. I don't view them as just employees. Like, no, it's my duty to turn them into millionaires over the next I'd say 3 to 5 years. Maybe sooner with some of the things we have going on and coming up. But yeah, that's sort of how I retain my team and how I build my company culture. Let me turn that back on. So yeah, that's it for my first YouTube video. All I will say is, if you're not on my newsletter, you have to be there. It's free. Literally go to the description, click the link, put your email in. I'm going to send you an email every single day talking about scaling, hiring people, building businesses as a beginner, where to start, how to write better copy, and much more. So do yourself a favor and sign up. It's free. And that's all for this video. I don't know really what else to say. So yeah.